very good morning to everybody. All right, welcome to the Insights Humanizing Innovation session with industry organized by Industry Collaboration and Engagement Center (ICEC) and co-organized by Faculty of Management on the topic of humanizing innovation through consumer immersion experience. So, my name is Vincent. I am the moderator for today. So I will be the one to moderate this session, and I'm a lecturer in Faculty of Management, and I am lecturing in the top area of marketing. So without further delay, let me permit me to introduce our speaker for today, Encik Muhammad Al-Amin bin Bunyamin, who is currently the head of Smart City Solution in TM1. All right, Encik Amin holds a, a bachelor degree in sorry bachelor degree in electronics and master in business administration (MBA). Encik Amin currently spearheads the TM5G use cases, and he is certified in network development, IPv6 network security, design thinking, and ITIL. So what is his contribution? So he have contributed in the MyGov Net Global, Putranet Digital Network, TM Digital Academy, and currently he is overseeing more than 45 smart city projects amounting to approximately 100 million in value. So, of course, without further delay, I would like to before that, I would like to remind all audience today, if you have any question, feel free to write your question in the chat box. All right. And if there's anything you want to clarify with Encik Amin, do so the same as well to upload your question in the chat box, and I will be the one to go and pick up the question, and I would address this question to Encik Amin. So I'm sure all of you are very excited. Without further delay, I would like to pass the session now to our speaker for today, Encik Amin, for his sharing on the topic. So, Encik Amin.
Thank you, Dr. Vincent. Before we starting, can you hear me, Doctor?
Yes, you are loud and clear.
All right. So I would like to thank to MMU for inviting TM1 for this today's sharing session in terms of the humanizing innovation. So my name is Muhammad Al-Amin. Okay. I'm currently the head of Smart City Solution in TM1. So today, out of 45 projects that we have been delivered, so we will sharing more on how we develop the solution, how we work in hand with our end customers, and at the end of the day, the most important part, how is our project impact and giving a positive contribution to address the pain points of our citizens, the pain points of the government to deliver to make sure that we are going to achieve the digital mission. So before we start to deep dive in terms of the solution, right? So the most important question people will ask, who you are, right? And what you can offer. So for TM1, why we can work in hand with our customer, number one is because of our infrastructure. So we have the world-class infrastructure, one in the IPDC, Johor, and number two, our KVDC, and number three is at our big fields. Okay, this world-class infrastructure is very important to make sure that all the data is within our sovereign and to make sure that it's within the law of Malaysia. On top of that, in terms of the connectivity, so we have been very aggressive to make sure that our current connectivity offering is according to the trend. And now moving from the fiber, we also embarked into the 5G to make sure that we can offer in terms of high bandwidth and so a low latency to make sure that we're having the real-time updates whenever we have the use cases. And on top of the infrastructure and connectivity, the most important part is the security. This is where we make sure that we are being monitored all the transaction. We need to make sure that the data won't be breached, because at the end of the day, the most important part is our peace of mind, to make sure that the securityness of our data is very monitored and also will be persistent in terms of the integrity, the data integrity. And on top of the security, we also having the expertise nationwide from Perlis up to Sabah. Okay, so we have the presence to make sure that your services is according to the service level agreement. And we are also delivering end-to-end services, not only the boxes or the solution, but the most important part, how we can deliver an ecosystem to our customer, starting from the hardware itself, the system, the connectivity, the cloud, and the end-to-end security. And over the time, we need to make sure that our platform is continually updates according to the latest trend and to make sure that we are addressing all the pain points and all the security concerned by our customer. So all in all, these are the values that we can offer to our TM1 customer in terms of the collaborative ecosystem, a future-proof initiative. It means that when we want to embark or we want to start a project, we will run a workshop with our customers to understand the pain points, to understand what is their strategic plan, what are they going to achieve in probably 3 years or 5 years. So these are the things that we need to make sure are in place before we want to start a program. And budget or the monetary is also important to make sure that our investment is really fit with our purpose. Sometimes it's not about the value of your money, but also what is the impact to the end user, what is the impact to the citizen, to make sure that the people can really benefit out of our solution. And lastly but not least is in terms of the strategic and the ownership of the data. Okay, some of our customers are very crucial, are very critical about where the data is being located, whether it's within our boundary or probably at the public cloud. So we have an option. So if the data is a public data, so of course we can host it at the service cloud or the public cloud. But if there is a confidential data, it's a restricted data, then we need to make sure that it's within uh, the law of nation or the border of our nation. So since we are today we are talking about the smart city, so we need to understand what is the direction of the government. So in 2020, the KPKT have launched the smart city framework. So there are 7 pillars that touch in terms of the people living, the smart people, the economy, and also the smart digital infrastructure. So these are the 7 pillars that have been stated by the government in order for the Malaysia to be a digital nation. So the role of the M1 here and the role of Telecom Malaysia is to make sure that all these 7 pillars is being supported by our initiative, by our strategic projects, in terms of the connectivity, in terms of the data, the cloud, the cyber security, and we need to understand each and every vertical having a different persona, right? So in terms of the smart living, this is about uh, people where they want to experience a smarter living for the smart environment, how our initiative can support the ESG, the green initiative, and this is to make sure that we going for a safer environment. And of course, in terms of the transportation, the smart mobility. So these are having a different persona, having a different pain point. So we need to make sure that our solution or even our products is really address the pain points or really address the concerns of our citizens. So all in all, these are our framework and to make sure that we are supporting the government to achieve a digital Malaysia probably within the 3 or 5 years. So these are the topic of our discussion today, right? How we want to humanize our innovation, whereby our customers, okay, our end users, the citizen, whereby the in term of the product and solution is really address the goals, the pain point, and the expectation of our persona. So in this case, when we want to propose a solution, when we want to have a project with our city councils or local councils, So we need to understand the journey of our citizen, okay, from the home, from the resident, going up to the city, then they're spending time at the workplace, and in time they have probably a healthcare. They need a healthcare attention. They need to see their doctors. So these are the, I can say, a user journey that we need to understand and where actually we want to address the problem and how we want to resolve the actual problem of our customer. So before we want to address any solution, right? So we need to understand our goals. So what is the goals of our citizen? Number one, to have a better living and to survive in the day-to-day challenges. Okay, to have a balanced and happy lifestyles. And since I think most of our citizens are workers, so we need to have a work-life integration. Whereby when you are at home, you still can do your job, or at your office, you still can do your family that needs to be done. And then in terms of the pain points, okay, so in terms of pain point, we want to feel secure at all places. We want, because the pain point here is the fears of insecurity at places, and probably a tight schedule when you want to juggle between business, family, and probably personal matters. So how we can help our citizen to address the work-life integration, I think, to address the pain point of balanced work-life between the business and also your personal thing that need to be done. And lastly, is about your expectation, right? You want to have your peace of mind, and also you want to probably uh, to go for the digital lifestyle, okay, whereby you can meet your what you need to be done at anywhere at any time. So that will be the expectation of our citizen. So we have a lot of solution in TM1. We have more than 20 smart services solution that we can offer. So now how we want to match that with our customer objective, right? What's our customer expectation. So before we want to propose, we need to understand their activity. And then from the activity, we want to create a value to solve their challenges. So that's the whole idea. So when we want to have a workshop, so we have this framework, okay, to find where actually we want to address, whether you want to address at the home, at the offices, or probably at the healthcare institution. So from my team, we are focusing more on the smart city for today. So when we talk about, so first you are at home early in the morning. So at home you spend time with the family, you having a good rest, and then you probably you enjoy your personal hobby. And after that, when you going to the work early in the morning, or going back from the work at the late evening, so you will walk through or drive at the resident area, and you spend time with the neighbors, or probably the nature, and how out of this activity we can create a value. For example, in terms of secure residency area or close-knit community. So close-knit community here means they can have an app, they can have a platform to communicate, to share, and everything. Then they move to the citywide. So in the citywide, there is a lot of challenges, right? To commute throughout the city. So how we want to traveling in effective manner from point A to the point B. So how we want to create a value here in terms of the secured city area, reducing the traveling time, and most important part, when we go to the ESG, how we want to support a low carbon city. At workplace, for example, when we spend time the most working, training, and have a self-development, so probably when you have things that need to be done, then you need personal things, probably you need to work from anywhere. You can work from the restaurants, you can probably approve things while you are in queue. So these are the digital platform or digital apps that probably we can help our citizens to make sure that they are really meet their ends meet. And then the most important part is how we want to have a conducive workplace when we have can have a smarter office, can have a smarter building, a safer place to work. And last but not least, in terms of the healthcare. So when we want to go to the medical checkup, okay, how probably our TM1 can help in terms of to have consulted from anywhere. So by having a 5G, we can communicate with the doctors and you can give feedback to the doctors, and probably this can be done over your phone or probably from the internet. So these are the things that we need to understand the pain point of our customer and what really values that we can offer to make sure that we address the challenges. So these are the design thinking part where we need to understand and to empathize the challenges of our citizens. And from there, we can propose a solution. This solution sometimes is not really about the technology, right? Sometimes it's just a policy. Sometimes it's just a process that we need to introduce to make sure that they can really meet their end objective. So now we come to the how actually we have delivered some of the use cases in Malaysia. Right? You can see most important part is the values that we offer. It's not really about the technology, but it's about the values, what the benefits out of the technology that people can experience and to have a immersive consumer experience to make sure that they can appreciate the technology that really helps them in terms of the efficiency, in terms of the faster recovery, restoration, in terms of the visibility, in terms of reducing the total cost of ownership, and so on. So for example, we have the city apps. Okay, the city apps is working closely with our customer, Perbadanan Putrajaya. Okay, but still we are in the workshop mode to understand what is the pain point of the citizen in Putrajaya, especially when dealing with the government services. If you want to pay your license, to renew the license, to pay the tax and so on. So how we want to have a better channels in terms of the probably a mobile channel. So currently we have the customer having the portal, the payment through the portal, payment through the counter, but they don't have a payment through a mobile. So today people are very busy. You don't have the time to go to the counter, to the offices, or even to go to the portal. So you can pay anywhere. So that's how the mobile apps can really increase the engagement between the government, the services, and the people. And secondly, about the dashboard. These are very important for the city councils to overseeing the project being implemented. So now the lot of services is running in silos. So how we can have an integrated platform so that they can have a performance, whereby they can see further the performance of the services, whether it's in the restoration mode, whether it is need to be resolved urgently. So the sea level need to have the visibility. You need to have the real-time updates. So that's how TM1 can help our customer in terms of integrating a multiple platform into a single platform and asserting a critical and important data for the use of the our management. Thirdly is surveillance. So smart surveillance is one of our needle mover in our businesses. Okay, because we have a customer from KPKT, we have customer from SK Selangor, from the MBJB, from MP Kulai. So the idea of this smart surveillance information, I can say there's three areas that we can offer. Number one is the face recognition. It is important for the monitoring a specific area, a black spot area, to reduce in terms of the crime rate. Okay. So based on the our city council experience, it can reduce up to 12% in the targeted area, or even zero crime rate when you start to install the surveillance, the analytic surveillance. So we have the face recognition, we have the license plate recognition to monitor the movement of the vehicle. And so we have the AI, the behavior, for example, the dumping and probably illegal parking and so on. So this, the behavior of the human, the behavior of the vehicle can be recorded, and probably we can proceed with the enforcement later on. Okay. And smart city light. I think this one, although you see quite a simple solution, but the impact is very high in terms of the energy saving. So if you change your street light from the halogen into the LED, so it reduce up to the 50%. And with the system whereby you can control in terms of the scheduling and so on, it can increase up to 65 to 69%. So this is how the smart street light have can produce a better uh, proposition in terms of the energy saving as well as the effectiveness of the operation. When we talk about the operation, previously they will depends on the public complaints, right? But by having a system, when the lights is turned off or probably a kaput, probably they can have a notification and they can act immediately to restore the light because the light is very important for the safety of a city. So without the lights, the crime rate and in terms of any accident can happen at any point of time. So by having a better lights, a better lux, then probably this will reduce in terms of the incidents that could happen in the city. And this one, the smart traffic light. For today, we will share later on how we implement the smart traffic light in Majlis Bandar Ipoh at the Ipoh City, whereby we helping the local council to reduce the travelling time. In Cyberjaya previously, we installed is reducing about 65%. In Ipoh, it reduced 51%. In terms of carbon, okay, we calculate the carbon emission when you travel by car or by any passenger car unit. So it can reduce up to 7,500 kilogram per month. So it's around 250 kg per day on daily basis. That's the average how we can reduce the carbon when we implement smart traffic lights. So when you spend too much time at the traffic light, you will emit more carbon. So that's the idea when you have a smooth traveling time, so you reduce the carbon. And smart parking, okay. So the idea we are working with DBKL, okay. This smart parking is to provide a visibility later on, okay, and then to promote in terms of the public transport. Okay. So whereby if you know the occupancy of the parking, for example at Bandar Tasik Selatan or any MRT station, you know where is currently fully occupied, where probably there is probably vacancy, so you can know from the system, and with that, you can utilize the public transport. That's the whole idea. And later on, we can calculate for how many hours you park at the MRT and use the public transport, and then that's how people can help to provide in terms of the green initiative to have a low carbon city and so on. So it's just the idea of park and ride lah, basically. And smart premises, this one we have lots of projects. We have 20 developers that currently work with TM1. So this one we introduced the smart home, the smart workplace, and also the smart fashion suite. And the idea we want to automate your experience in your home, for example, or even at the ward. When you admitted at the ward, so you don't have the right energy, right, to switch on, to switch off, and so forth, so on. But the most important part here, we introduce the apps. From the apps, you can control the lighting, you can control the curtain, you can control your television, you can control your air condition. So that's the idea how we want to automate rooms to make sure that you can have a better um, experience when you enter your home, your workplace, or even at the hospital ward. And the smart building, of course, this one is more on the green building initiative or the green building index. Okay, we need to make sure that all your utility, the heat, ventilation, aircon, or so-called HVAC, is being monitored. Because for the CIDB, they have a cert that they probably will introduce to make sure that our building is really support in terms of the ESG and also the Green Building Index. So here we provide a platform, okay, for us to make sure that all the utilities are being monitored. Okay, if any leakage and so on, they will get notified. At the end of the year, probably when we have an audit later on, these are things that we need to automate the process, of the automate the report, automate the incidents and so on. And lastly, but not least, is one community. This is how we offer to our developer for the residents, the community for the resident to pay the rental, to pay the maintenance, and even for the security, the visitor management system. So we need a platform. Okay, for example, if you stay in an apartment, you need to communicate, right? So you have a WhatsApp. At the same time, also you can have a community platform whereby you can share any events, we can share any ideas for improvement to the GMB, the Joint Management Board. So these are the 9 solutions of TM1 Smart City that we can offer to our local council as well as the developer, the real estate developer. Okay. So these are the use cases. I pick up some of the use cases that we currently delivered. This one is at the Kuching, where we work together with the government of Sarawak to make sure that we can offer in terms of the number one is the fiber. We fiberize the whole development, right, from our HSBB Unify. So for the first 2 years, the cost will be borne by the developer. And then on top of the fiberization, we put the analytic surveillance. Okay, just want to make sure that the security, the perimeter security, is being monitored by the security guard. So we have a command center. Consider rather than the guard need to go around this area, now we can automate the process. They can see from the command center the security, if there is any breach at the security area, or probably if there is any theft or probably at the fencing area and so on, so they can trigger to make sure that they can have a immediate response if there is any incident happen. And on top of the smart surveillance, we also have the smart street lights. Okay, this one how we can control in terms of the energy saving. Okay, and the most important part is how we integrate all the smart services into a single platform to make sure that we can monitor the street lights, we can monitor the surveillance, we can monitor the visitor management system through the license plate recognition. So we have a multiple product partners here that we work closely with other company as well to deliver the smart solution for Darul Hana project. The second is a smart building, or we can call it a smart campus. The idea here is TM, we work with our support business team, okay, to have a better experience center and also our academy for the training of more than 32,000 of TM staff. So here we also having a experience center for our product and solutions. So at the in-building and at the external area, we have the surveillance, the security surveillance. And we have also the smart light, so we can see in terms of the energy saving and how the smart street light can really respond if there is any movement at any point of time. They can turn on the lights. For example, we turn off or we make it 50% at the 3 a.m. in the morning, but suddenly there is a people, then we'll turn into 100% lighting. So that's how we can automate and probably provide a better experience for our end customers. And number 3 is our One Pass. This one is for the face recognition, for the attendance, for the visitor management. And we have the IBMS. IBMS means Integrated Building Management System. So here we want to introduce a Green Building Index, right, to support the ESG. And I think the most important part here is the content. Okay, by the digital content, we through the VR, AR, and the curved screen, we can have an immersive experience for our customers and also for our staff. So all the training content, all the I can say it's a day-to-day job instruction, the work instruction is all will be translated into a digital content and can be learned through this building as well as from online. We have also the digital app the digital app here means it's meant for the registration, right, for the any event, any trainings, and so we have a face recognition as well when you register for any of the event that will be held in this arena. So we have the smart dashboard. Okay, this smart dashboard you can see the end-to-end services that being installed in this building. So let's move into our video. So we can share our video that we work with the Majlis Bandar Ipoh in collaboration with the Ipoh City Council towards a global smart city. Okay, Borhan, can you run the video?
Untuk makluman semua, Bandara Ipoh telah pun diberikan pengiktirafan sebagai pilihan ke-6 destinasi paling menarik di benua Asia oleh Lonely Planet, sebuah portal pengembaraan terbesar di dunia. Dan antara kriteria yang dipertimbangkan sebagai pengiktirafan tersebut adalah kewujudan kafe-kafe hipster yang banyak. Ini kerana Ipoh masih mempunyai jumlah bangunan sebelum perang yang kedua terbanyak di Malaysia selepas Bandaraya Georgetown di Pulau Pinang. Bandar Ipoh mempunyai tahap kesediaan infrastruktur yang sangat baik bagi internet jalur lebar mudah alih dan internet talian tetap. MBI telah bekerjasama dengan TM untuk meningkatkan kelajuan internet di sekitar pusat Bandar Ipoh ini, iaitu dari 100 MB kepada 1 GB melalui pelaksanaan projek fiber optik Unify. Dan antara kerjasama lain dengan TM adalah dalam projek MBI Free Wi-Fi, yang mana 11 lokasi free Wi-Fi tadi telah dilaksanakan dan bakal ditambah secara berperingkat. Kerjasama ini amat memberi manfaat kepada komuniti perniagaan dan rakyat Ipoh khususnya kerana kemudahan perkhidmatan jalur lebar yang baik membantu dalam urusan seharian mereka. Kami juga komited untuk mempersiapsiagakan infrastruktur selaras dengan perkembangan transformasi digital dan teknologi yang akan mempengaruhi kecekapan dalam pengurusan bandar khususnya. Perancangan Pelantandakan Ipoh Bandaraya Pintar 2030 direncanakan bagi menangani cabaran perbandaran dan meletakkan Bandara Ipoh setaraf dengan bandar pintar global ataupun Global Smart Cities. Kita semua tahu TM1 merupakan agensi utama yang meneraju asas pembentukan infrastruktur digital negara. Menerusi kerjasama strategik ini, ia amat membantu MBI untuk menguruskan bandar dengan lebih cekap dan teratur. Sebagai contoh, program Smart Traffic Light di Jalan Sultan Idris yang dalam tempoh percubaan amat membantu melancarkan 51% aliran trafik, terutamanya pada waktu puncak. Selain itu, kadar pengeluaran karbon di Jalan Sultan Idris Shah telah dapat dikurangkan sebanyak 7,500 kg dalam sebulan. Selaras dengan hasrat untuk menjadikan Bandaraya Ipoh ini ke arah bandaraya rendah karbon menjelang tahun 2030. Antara kerjasama lain yang bakal dijalinkan adalah Dome Project, di mana ia merupakan dedicated access menggunakan fiber atau dalam kata lain sebuah capaian internet superhighway yang stabil pada pengguna. Harapan saya, MBI bersama TM1 akan sama-sama dapat meneroka lebih banyak peluang serta teknologi pintar untuk kerajaan warga Bandaraya Ipoh.
Okay, thank you for the video. So today we will deep dive into how we start this project with Majlis Bandaraya Ipoh. Okay, so these are the long stretch at the Jalan Sultan Idris Shah. So the pain point of our citizen, for our end customers here is congested, right? Because at the left, at the right, there is lots of bank here. There's a double parking at the peak hours, right? And so sometimes there is a construction being developed over the time. So that's why there's a lot of things that happen here. So we work with Majlis Bandar Ipoh to further understand what is the challenges that been faced by the residents over this area, and we need to offer a solution to make sure that we can address this holistically. So number one, the objective of this initiative is to reduce the traffic congestion, right, managed by the authority. Okay. And how the idea when we have a brainstorm, first we need to have the green wave. So for information, green wave is whereby the lights will be turned into green and sync up between the four junctions. So once the J1 is turned into green, the J2, J3, and J4 also will turn into green. So that's how we can reduce the traveling time, the most important part. But we need to understand further. It is just not the main road. We're also having the sub road, right, into the main that feeding the vehicle into the main road. So how we need to explore the AI, the camera can help us in terms of the algorithm to manage the traveling time on the main road as well as for the sub road. So these are the beyond human capability, even beyond police traffic capability. Normally, the police traffic can only manage for the main road, but not really on the sub road. Okay. So that's how we understand that we need to implement an AI and so a better traffic management for this Jalan Sultan Idris. And secondly, how we can improve in terms of the operating efficiency. For example, the pain point of the local councils or for the JKR, sometimes the services is down due to probably construction, due to the lightning, and so on. There's lots of problems. So how we want to improve the efficiency? If there is any incident, they will be notified immediately so that they can take action faster and to resolve the problem within the 4 hours or 2 hours. And thirdly is how we can enhance the traffic management and the analytics. Because in the future, if let's say there is a requirement to have flyover, right? So they need data. They need to know what is the trend and what is the scale of the congestion in this area. Because in the government, there is classification in terms of the congestion from A to F. Right? So I can say A is quite okay, F is really congested or heavy congested. So with the data, then only is easy for the government to justify for the budget and so on. With the data also, they can properly plan in terms of the township planning. And of course, when we do this project, we need also to support in terms of the low carbon city, how this project can help the government in terms of the initiative for the ESG, for the green city, because these are the direction of the world, of the government, to make sure that we always support to be low in carbon. Okay. And lastly, of course, to safeguard the community. For your information, once we implemented this project, there are 3 accidents being happen at this area. So with the camera, we are able to record, and that one can be approved when we want to go for the enforcement and so on. So this one is the architecture, right? The architecture, how we want to implement this project. Okay, so the traditional or the legacy system, they have their traffic lights, they have the traffic signal controller. That is it. Okay, the legacy system. So everything, all the, wait, I taking the pointer. So for the legacy system, they have the aspect or this the traffic lights. Okay, and also the traffic signal controller. So for the AI setup, the AI optimizer, we install the AI traffic box as well as the PoE switch box. And each and every junction, we install the cameras. At least there should be 4 cameras, because we have a 4 junction over there. So this camera, you run the edge analytics. So you capture the plate number, they capture the vehicle types, whether it's a lorry, whether it's a car, van, and so on, right? And all this will be connected back to the our cloud, the TM cloud over the Unify. Or later on, we will install the 5G over this place. Okay. So we have the Unify router and also our TM IoT box. This TM IoT box is used to collect all the data and translate all the data into a platform that can be displayed. So we can have also the report in weekly basis in terms of the data collection. And all this data will be processed in the cloud, and also the optimizer platform to make sure that our local council can have a better view in terms of the system wise, from the dashboard. So having a real time capturing of the data, or any incident happen, they can have visibility. So these are the snapshot of our dashboard for the smart traffic light under TM1. Okay, number one, we have the vehicle classification. So we can have the type of car, lorry, van, bus, bicycle, and also the motorbike. Okay, so this data is very important later on if they want to enhance, or probably want to have alternative route, or probably want to have flyover to address any future development. So the origin destination chart is about, we can detect from where the car is coming, from which road, and where it's heading, or probably exit from this area. So we can see the trend, right? We can see the trend of which junction is really having, can say the most pass-through junction out of these 4 junctions. Then we have the average journey time. So once we collect the data from J1 to the J4, we can see the average traveling time, and also we verify this data with Google reading. So I can say the difference is not much, it's between plus and minus 5%. So here is really the vehicle journey. So this one line representing one car or one passenger car unit. So we calculate. So here we can see the average is within 400 seconds from the J1 up to the J4. Okay. Previously, the traveling time here is around 600 seconds. And then after the implementation, is between 300 to 400 on daily basis. And lastly is the impact. So we calculate in terms of the carbon emission and how it can reduce. So based on our study, based on the data, right, based on the formula, so it reduce the carbon up to 249 or 250 on daily basis. Per month, it sum up to 7,500 kilogram per month. So on top of the data that's being collected, right, we also detect some of the violation. If there is any rate violation, if you pass the junction during the rate the rate time, so we will capture. So meaning here we can see at any point of time, is there any illegal violation, or even that we can have a further enforcement. So if you can see the green or magenta here, is about the digital loop coil. Okay, previously we have analog, so now we have 2. One is the analog loop coil, and now we introduce the digital loop coil. So if there is any happen to the loop coil due to the construction, so things will be failed over into a digital loop coil. And this one, you can see the saturation or the congestion of that area. So we can see from the trend, right, where actually at any point of time congestion happen, and probably if there is any extreme traffic happen, we can address via police traffic and so on, especially when there is an accident and so on. Okay. So these are the data that we collected, okay, during the service trial, but now it's already converted into a real projects, okay, and will be run over the 5 years. Okay. So before the implementation, we can see the average is between 4 to 500 seconds from the J1 to the J4 here. But after the implementation, we can see the average is between 100 to 250. The journey time, the average journey time for each and every vehicle that travel between the first junction up to the fourth junction. So by this data, we conclude that so the average journey time reduced by 51%. Okay, from this after 3 months of implementation. So these are the data in terms of the carbon emission. So there is a formula, right, to calculate in terms of the carbon reduction when you reduce the traveling time. So from here you can see, so these are the previous carbon emission, right, on the daily basis, around 250, and previous carbon is 48, and now is down to 250. So the reduction is around 51%. So this blue one is representing the previous one, and the green is representing the after we have installed 3 months of this solution. So it's not only reduce the traveling time, having a better green wave between the junction, but also it can reduce in terms of the carbon for the local council to go for the low carbon city. So these are the summary, and this will be the final slide that we will share for today. So how our initiative and how we understand the pain points, the challenges of the city council, and further understand uh, how we can helping them to provide a better experience for our citizens. So by having this AI traffic optimization, we reduce the congestion time, right? With the congestion up to the 51% for the traveling time. And number two is to improve the operating efficiency by having a video surveillance. So we have detected one accident where a car hitting the motorbike. So we have the video, and then that video is collected by the police for the investigation. So during this, I can say we improve in terms of the automation, improve in terms of the analytic surveillance, and of course, with the system in place, they can act and respond immediately. And number three, enhance the overall traffic management and analytics. Because since we collect all the data, right, this data is very important for the town planning to make sure that they can have a better justification in the future to upgrade, to have alternative route, or even to have a flyover over this road. And the carbon emission as well. So we reduce around 7,500 kilogram per month. Okay, and I think the most important part is how we can safeguard uh, the community in terms of the state-of-the-art traffic management solution, and also we can detect any incident that happen, and we can predict if there is any illegal parking, or even any abnormal events happen, then we can further take action from the command center. Okay. So all in all, that's the sharing by TM1 on how we understand the challenges of our citizen. Okay, what is the plan of our city council to make sure that we can provide a better experience for the citizen of Ipoh. Okay. So thank you. All right.
All right. Thank you very much, Encik Amin, for the very insightful sharing on the smart technology for a smart city. So indeed, this technology will definitely be beneficial to us all users. All right. So now we are now open for question. If there's question, ladies and gentlemen, you can actually start keying your question in the chat box. All right. So while waiting for the question, so Encik Amin, maybe I can just ask one question just to get your experience. All right. So as you can see that this implementation of this new technology is something that will change the life of the user. So maybe based on your experience, can you just share with us like what are the challenges that you face when you implement this new technology or this new smart technology, in fact, to ease the trouble of the user. So maybe can you share some experience like what are the challenges that you face?
Okay. Um, this is I can say is a smart services, right? So when we want to introduce smart technology, I think the challenges will be the acceptance, right? Or probably what is the adoption of our target customers. So when we want to implement a smart solution or probably a new technology, I can say we really need to start with a small scale project, because you need to understand our customers or even our government, they won't spend a big project uh, simply for the new things that just come in place. So that's why we introduce start small, right? For example, at the Ipoh here, we start small, we do a service trial, and we assess and evaluate the impact. Because to our citizen, to our government, it's not really sometimes about the technology. It's really about what the benefits, what the value they can get once they subscribe this kind of services. So I can say, so the challenges is about the acceptance. So to address the acceptance is we need to prove that our solution is really a working solution that really can bring the impact, right? And most important part is how we want to uphold or to support the government plan, to support in terms of the digital Malaysia plan in the future. But this is a new technology. We need to see and assess the impact. And once they are confident with our technology, then only the acceptance and the obligation will start to picking up. So the challenges is always about the acceptance and how we want to convince and address the real problem of our customers and work closely towards achieving together their objective. That my answer, Doctor. All right.
All right, good. Very interesting, Inti. I'm sure that throughout this implementation, you may face a lot of challenges. So, and what you explained is indeed very insightful. That we need to start small to gain the trust and the confidence of the user. In fact, the government as well. So this is a very important information that definitely will give us some insight on all the challenges with regards to this new technology.
Mhm.
So looking at that, let me go into a bit more in depth to find out that, of course, these challenges are what you mentioned that gaining acceptance is very important. But of course, what are your methods of collecting the information, like in terms of the reaction of the customer or the users, or in fact the government? Like how do you collect the information for you to understand that what will be the level of acceptance of the consume of the user and also the government with regards to this new technology? Like what are the mechanism that you have in order to collect this data?
Okay. For information, there is a method previously implemented by the local council, right? Where they need to have a manual data collection. Okay. Meaning there is planning people of, at the junctions, and they will calculate through the calculator, I can say, to make sure that how many vehicles that pass through the junction, and for them to collect the data and having a report and classify the status of the junction, whether it's classified by A, B, C, or even F. All right. So that's how uh, things are manually done previously. Okay. So now we want to improve that process. We want to improve that journey, our local council journey, to make sure that they have a better data collection method, right? So in this case, we introduce the camera, right? The AI camera. So this AI camera installed at the specific junction, right? And come with the mini AI box. Okay. So that camera, it can detect whether it's a human or there's a vehicle, or even if there is an animal. For these use cases, our objective is for the traffic management, right? So we detect the types of vehicle, the lorry, the car, the plate number, and so on. So the government can see, the state government can see how uh, saturate this junction. You can see, okay, if previously they have a uh, F status for this junction, probably due to this system can automated, can be, you can see the trend over the years. Probably you can reduce to a better or to do a higher status, and later on you can further improve in terms of building flyover, or probably to have alternative route, or even to have a one-way solution to make sure that the congestion is being addressed immediately. Okay, so to answer your question, the react from the government, they are very happy, right? Because we automated all the processes, and the data is being stored at the cloud, and they can
Mm.
extract and download the report on weekly and monthly basis.
Good.
So that's how we give an impactful process improvement
Mm.
for this city council.
Interesting. So in other words, the government reaction, they will get real time information on the efficiency and the performance of this new innovation.
Yeah, correct.
Okay. All right. So that's very interesting. So I indeed I'm sure all of us, ladies and gentlemen, are very impressed with this new smart technology and the sharing by Inche Amin. So of course, ladies and gentlemen, if you have any more questions, you can actually feel free to write your question on the chat box, and then from there I will pick it up and I will address the question to Inche Amin. So ladies and gentlemen, you can actually do so now. All right. While I will also be asking a few more questions to Inche Amin. So of course, Inche Amin, this is a very good sharing by your side. So of course, the next thing that besides the acceptance, so of course the next thing that we look in terms of when it comes to technology is the maintenance. So maybe can you like share with us like, yeah, because if let's say the technology is not efficient anymore, then it will cause problem or resist issues to the user. So maybe again, just a simple short sharing from the side. Maybe you can share with us what are the implementation plan with regards to actually ensure the efficiency of this new technology.
Okay. Yes, it's true, Doctor. For this one, I can say is an outdoor solution. So an outdoor solution is formed to the lightning, is any flooded or any incident that could happen at any point of time. So number one, we need to make sure that the equipment is being ruggedized. Okay, ruggedized means it's IP67 and so on, to make sure that it's able to uh, work even at the high temperature. So that number one lah. Okay, because
Mm.
to make sure that this equipment is very robust to meet any challenges, the environmental challenges. Okay, and number two, um, is about the business model, right? The business model with our customer. So with this kind of solution, normally we will introduce OPEX model rather than we go for the CAPEX model. OPEX model here means they just subscribe the services. And within the 3 years or the 5 years, If there is any incident happen or any the system is corrupted or equipment is failed during the services, we can just replace with a new equipment, a new camera, for example, or a new mini AI box. Okay. And thirdly, uh, we need to make sure that our projects having the insurance. Okay. So when we install at the roadside, so we are open for any accidents. Any car can hit our traffic lights, can hit
Yes,
our
yes.
camera. So once we have insurance, that probably will help us in terms of managing the cost, and also to make sure that the services will be restored within the agreed timeline.
Okay, all right. I'm from what from Inche Amin so sharing that this all these initiative have been put in place to ensure the efficiency. So with that, I'm sure this the support that is given will definitely enhance the benefit to the user. So of course, I think again, let me see whether do we have any question. All right. So there's no question, but okay, maybe we just have one last question to from Encik Amin on the what will be the future because me myself I'm the a user as well. So from what my place do not have any of this technology yet. So maybe I would like to get some sharing from Encik Amin that what will be the future possibility of future development in regards to this new smart technology or smart system.
Okay. So far, what been implemented, I can say, is a level one AI, right, or the machine learning. So whereby we can collect the data, right, collect the data and automate a certain process. But I believe in the future, when the technology and being enhanced more and more, uh, probably we can have a full AI solution, right? For
Mm,
example, in future, when we have installed all the sensors at the old at the specific junctions, we can predict we can predict the when times there will be a congestion will occur, right? So when you know the condition will occur at certain point of time, probably will you have an option to go for the public transport, for example, or
mm.
probably you can utilize the Grab, right, or any MyCar or MyTaxi and so on. So I think the predictive analytics is something that we can enhance in the future because we don't want to just to address the historical problem, right? But we also want to address a future problem. So that's I think the thing that we can explore further in terms how we can go from the I can say current analytical behavior into a more predictive behavior. For your information, uh, when we collect the data, we can see the abnormality, the abnormality of a car. For example, they hit the red lights, for example, right? So when you can see the abnormality of a car, there is an implementation in Korea whereby they have a speaker horn and they can warn the passenger or maybe the pedestrian at a specific area that there is, I can say, a car that coming with a high speed, for example. So with that experience, when we can predict something or even predict the environmental, so we can be prepared. The pedestrian can be prepared, and I think with that we can really safeguard our community or any incident or anything that will happen in the near future. So that will be the thing that probably we can explore and implement it. I think in 2 or 3 years time. Yeah.
Wow. All right, interesting. So this will be some new innovation that will be for the future. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, we are almost at the end of this insight session. So maybe I would like to invite Encik Amin for the they call it the short point to take away for this session.
All right.
will you have any last sharing or last point to share to our audience before we
Okay.
end the session?
All right. So for today, since we are talking about the humanize, right, the innovation, I'm totally agree. Based on our experience, that uh, customers will be our main subject that we need to taking care, right? Or we call it customer centric. So we need to really understand what is the challenges of our customers before we want to propose or introduce any solution. And what we can say here is design thinking is something that can help us in terms of empathize or to have a further deep understanding of our customer. Because the idea of design thinking is to start with the customer itself, to get their feedbacks, to understand what is their pain points, what are their challenges. But sometimes when we understand further of our customer, it's not only technology that can solve the problem. Sometimes it's just a matter of fine tuning the policy, fine tuning the processes, and so on. So that's why we are not just hard selling. Okay? We really understand what we can provide values, provide benefits to our end user, and at the end of the day, uh, when the customer start to trust in you, right? We are not just selling, but trust in you, then we can work together to make an impactful projects, to make an impactful initiative to our citizen. That's what I understand, and through our experience, by having a humanized innovation.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Encik Amin, for the last point to take away for this session. So with that, before I end this session, I would like to just say what I feel towards this top technology. So because technology has become a very crucial part in our society. So without technology advancement, so much of our everyday life will be drastically different as technology develops. It strives to change the needs of society. So that's where we need to humanize our innovation. So of course, with that short sharing from my side, I would like to, on behalf of the organizer, I would like to thank the speakers, Encik Amin, for sharing your insightful sharing and knowledge with us for this online webinar. And of course, we'd like to thank the organizer of this seminar, the Industrial Collaboration Engagement Center, ICEC, and co-organized by the Faculty of Management and Multimedia University, and not to be forgotten, MMU Studio, the Strategic Marketing Department under Strategic Marketing, Admission and Recruitment, Smart Division, and the technical support team for making this insightful seminar conducted smoothly. And of course, not to be forgotten, the audience for your attention and for your interest and participation during this webinar. So with that, once again, thank you everyone for all your kind support and your assistance, and of course the audience. And everyone else, let us take care and stay safe and have a nice day, and see you again in the next webinar session. And thank you very much and goodbye.